Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, that's Ben Olson, together with the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from Dinesh.
Hello, I recently began studying for the LSAT in January. It's March, by the way. I'm currently a junior in undergrad, and I plan to graduate this coming fall and apply to law school as soon as applications open. I'm currently sitting with a 3.98 GPA and have confidence I'll finish the remainder of this semester with all A's. My question is, if law schools will see my grades from my final semester. I'm thinking that since I'll be applying before my final grades are published, they won't see the grades I made in my last semester and will only see what I applied with. My worry is that I have a relatively difficult schedule planned for my last semester, and if I accidentally made a lower grade, if it would affect my chances of being accepted. Does LSAC update? Another minor question. Do law schools care about seeing pass-fails on a transcript if ultimately your GPA is high? Over the spring of 2020 and fall of 2020, I have used 4 pass-fails in total. Thanks for all your help. I love the show.
Dinesh is an excellent applicant.
Yeah, although we don't know Dinesh's LSAT score. It'd be nice to know.
Well, no, but Dinesh has everything we've heard about Dinesh. He's got everything going for him. 3.98, still getting straight A's. As far as if you're going to go straight from undergrad to law school, they will have accepted you before your spring semester.
Yeah.
If you got like all F's, then yeah, they could just take away your admission. Don't go get horrible grades in your last semester. But if you get an A- or if you get a B+ or whatever, I've never heard of a single case of somebody getting their admission or scholarship yanked because of that.
They've made a decision based on the information they had at the time, and there's momentum behind that decision.
They're going to stick with that unless, if you completely tank it. Well, think what would Dean Z do? Right? Dean Z's worried about her medians. And by Dean Z, I now use Dean Z for every law school dean of admissions. I mean, like any admissions person is doing the same calculus that Dean Z is doing if they're smart, which is they're worried about their medians because that's what affects their rankings. Dinesh's 3.98 is above the 50th percentile at literally every law school.
Yep.
So, Dinesh, if you get into Yale, is that B that you get in your final semester going to lower your GPA enough that it's actually below the 50th percentile of Yale? Maybe at Yale. Not hardly anywhere else. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Now, if you got straight C- your last semester and it totally crashed your GPA, then I can see how it, they might look at that and go, well, yeah, we did admit you, but now you're lowering our public profile and we don't want that. So goodbye. Did you look up Yale's 509?
Yeah, I did. The 75th percentile is 3.99. Their 50th percentile is 3.94.
Okay,
so you'd have some wiggle room there,
but not a lot at Yale. Yeah. But I mean, every other school it's going to be lower. And
I just think it's harder to move your GPA right at the very end because you have so much.
Yeah, but it's easier to move it down.
Yeah.
Definitely, when you're that high, it's definitely easier to move it down. Like if he got a C or something, that could move it pretty significantly. I think down from there, like just down to a 3.94. Yeah, so or 3.93 or whatever. I think the 50th percentile is the one that matters, and as long as you're not going to drop below the 50th percentile, I think you're good. Pass fails, I don't think anybody gives a shit about pass fails, especially not for pass fails. Who cares? Especially not during COVID.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Everybody has like full years worth of pass fails and all kinds of weird shit on their transcripts because of COVID. So you don't need to worry about that at all until if you're listening to this 5 years in the future, there was a global pandemic back in 2020 to 2022. Hopefully it's not still going. there was a bunch of weird shit where schools got canceled. But for applicants in the near future, I mean, there's going to be a lot of weird shit on people's transcripts for a couple of years. So who cares? The one thing that Dinesh needs to be aware of is that they might affect his LSAC GPA.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. How do they calculate those passes? I'm presuming they're all passes. So what is it going to do with that? If it ignores them, great.
You can Google it. I suppose, Ben, we could actually learn more about it. We've always just said, hey, upload your transcripts to the Credential Assembly Service because you need to do that anyway. Get your transcripts uploaded, and they'll calculate your LSAC GPA, because that's what you're actually applying with, not your transcript GPA, but your LSAC GPA. Upload those transcripts, and they can do the calculations. If you're really interested in it, you could waste time by going and looking up those calculations and calculating it yourself. But that would be dumb if you're still studying for the LSAT.
Okay, I'm reading this at least somewhere. It says in pass-fail courses, passes do not count, but fails do.
Whoa.
So.
Okay, well, Dinesh obviously didn't fail anything. The passes don't count. But the thing is, maybe they affect his GPA at his school. I mean, different schools are going to deal with this in different ways. I think most schools probably just ignore pass-fails. It doesn't count on your GPA at all. Other schools might do weird shit. Anyway, upload your transcripts, find out what your actual GPA is. And yeah, I can't imagine worrying about pass-fails for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Unless you fail. Fails are bad. Because LSAT counts those apparently as a 0.
Yeah, this is interesting. Well, I found the webpage.
Okay.
That it's called Transcript Summarization, and it's on lsac.org. We can link to it in the show notes, obviously.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, there's a lot of very specific rules here, so you could go through and read your specific case, but it's kind of like a legal document. There are general rules, right? Like passing grades aren't affecting, but of course there are exceptions to this policy. And so, anyways.
Well, so the fact that there are exceptions means that you also might be able to get like preferential treatment. So we have heard of people go to your school first. You might be able to get your school to remove this shit from your transcripts. And if you can't do that, you might be able to get LSAC to give you an exception to their rules. Sometimes your law career begins now. So, go ahead and start being the pain in the ass that you will be when you become a lawyer, and ask for special treatment.
Okay.
Thanks, Dinesh. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.